is my distinct pleasure to welcome up to the podium Alyssa Hector, AVP of Development and Alumni Engagement. Please, a round of applause for Alyssa.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to NSU's 1964 Society Reception and Member Induction. This is always my favorite event of the year. It brings together our donors who have entrusted their legacy to NSU through a planned gift. We thank and celebrate all of you. Could we have all of our 1964 Society members please stand for a moment? I also stand with you today as a member of the 1964 Society, which has 271 members, nearly 60% of whom are also members of the Fellow Society, which are members who have made cumulative gifts to the university of $50,000 or more. Our gifts are a powerful commitment to NSU's work and mission for generations to come. Now, it's my honor to recognize some special guests who are with us today, beginning with NSU's trustees. These community leaders devote their time, knowledge, and experience to NSU throughout the year, and we thank them. Mitchell Berger. Mr. Martin Press, our campaign chair. And Mr. Tate and his wife, Sandy. I'd also like to recognize another very important group of NSU leaders, the executive officers. Dr. George Lafayette Hamberry, President and CEO, and his wife, Jana. Dr. Harry Moon, President-elect, and Dr. Ronald Chennai, Provost. Finally, I would like to recognize members of NSU's President's Council. If you could please stand to be recognized. I'd also like to recognize members of our Planned Giving Council. Michael, that's you. Juliana. The passion that unites Nova Southeastern University with you is your commitment to make the world we live in better. NSU is building a legacy through Vision 2025 and our campaign to preeminence. With Vision 2025, NSU will be recognized as a preeminent doctoral research university. Part of that vision is to raise $1 billion in external support, $500 million in philanthropic gifts, and $500 million in research. I am pleased to report that we are 95% towards our $1 billion goal. And NSU is in the top half of schools ranked by US News and World Report. Now let me tell you about an NSU leader who plays an integral role in academic excellence at the university. Dr. Ronald Chennai is Provost and Executive Director for Academic Affairs and Professor of Family Therapy. Dr. Chennai earned his BA in History from St. Bonaventure University, his Master's in Educational Psychology Counseling from the University of Houston, and his doctorate in family therapy from Nova Southeastern University. Since 1990, Dr. Chennai has been part of 14 grants and contracts totaling over $6.5 million. He published over 130 publications, including 9 books, and he's given over 200 formal academic presentations at conferences and meetings. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Ronald Chennai.
Why do you always embarrass me like that?
Can't be embarrassed.
Nobody's ever read those books. My mom did. That's okay. I've been asked to speak on it's weird sound, 2 things this evening: academic excellence and our student speaker this evening, and I'm going to combine the two of those together because John, as you'll hear more about him, is just an amazing kid. He's a kid, right? They all look young to these, right? They look like young. I met his mom earlier. Where's John? Where are you hiding? There, he's over there, right? I met his mom earlier. Because, you get a piece of paper and you read about somebody, but it's more important to meet them and to learn more about them before you start making fun of. No, I won't do that, John. I won't do that, John. So academic excellence, like anybody today, I looked it up and used that generative AI. I didn't do that. But academic excellence is could be being good in school. And when you were in school, in K-12, what did it mean to be, we probably didn't even use those terms, right? You got a report card and you got good grades, right? Isn't that what it's about? You tried not to get in trouble, something on your permanent record, sit outside the principal's office, none of those things that would never happen to me. And for most of my beginning part of my year, I went to school with my mom. She taught second grade, so I couldn't get away with nothing. Okay. So academic excellence, when you look at it today, and I could say universities are different than K-12, but it really is the same. Do you remember when you did your first resume? I think they do that in kindergarten now. Maybe preschool. They probably do it over at Copus, probably makes his kids do those right now over there. And the idea is that academic excellence at a university, I'll talk about NSU for a little bit. It's about academic excellence in the purest sense would be what we teach and what we hope students learn in the classroom. But you know anything about learning today, learning just doesn't happen in the classroom. They do this thing called experiential learning, where you take what you learn and be able to apply it to real-world problems, trying to create real-world solutions. And so that kind of looking out to the community, we'll call that service. So academic excellence is not just doing the stuff in the classroom, but it's also making an impact out there in not the universities aren't the real world, but that other real world that's out there. It's a multiverse. I think Spider-Man taught us that very effectively, right? And so then there's also the notion of being reflective and to think about what you're doing and to make sense of things and hopefully to create things that are new. We were having commencement last week, and Rita Case, one of our trustees, we were talking about the cars that drive themselves. What's going to happen, is that there'll be no people driving their cars anymore. In about 20 years, there'll be the one lane for the human beings, the troublemakers over there, and everything else, because the trouble with the cars today is that it's the people. You don't know what they're going to do. There's been TCAS antennas in airplanes for decades. Used to make them in Fort Lauderdale, right? Because the pilot, don't trust the pilot, the planes know what to do. And so it's that idea about not just what you do in the lab, but taking that research, taking that scholarship and bringing it out into the real world and making an impact. Academic excellence is about making an impact. Did y'all go to the movies last summer? Remember you just got the movies, right? You didn't go, and there was two movies that were very popular last summer. Can you remember that far back? Are you an Oppenheimer crowd or a Barbie crowd? Okay, Rob is the Barbie, okay. Oppenheimer, okay. Now, I'm going to break this to you. They're really the same movie. Right? They're the same movie. They're about real people. Well, not that part. Great music in both of them, right? But both of them were about human nature and about even the basic nature, right? They both have the same theme. The first part of both movies are about the energy that's created when you split things apart. But by the end of now you see where I'm coming from? But by the end of the movie, you get even greater energy when you bring things together. So I'm not just making stuff up here. This is really significant stuff that you can do. So let me talk about someone who has done that, whether he's more Barbie or I don't know, but he knows how to bring things together. So we share a lot in common, a Canadian background, French Canadian, Greek Canadian. There's all kinds of Canadians. We're all very polite, as you know, right? And so John, now you told me how to say it and I'm going to mess it up, right? Voudrous. Good? I said, whatever I say it's okay. So we worked that out beforehand. Now, John, I looked I looked you up on the internet. I had to log into LinkedIn. I hadn't been on LinkedIn for years. You have a LinkedIn page. I can't believe it. Kids with LinkedIn pages. And what he's already accomplished in his young life is amazing. But because it's not like doing all these separate things, is what he has brought together to make his life meaningful, not only for himself and his family, but for his community in Canada, as well as here. He's one of our dual admission students. These are the kids that when you talk to them when they first come here, say, hey, you know, what are you studying? I'm going to be a dentist. They already know what they're going to do because they have been working on this, and they've been working it in terms of understanding that they're not just going to earn a degree here. They're just not going to earn credit hours. They are going to make a difference. And it's easy for us to pick these kids out because you know what? They're already making a difference before they ever get here. It's our job to take them to that next level, to help them make that even greater impact. So, you know, I had enough trouble getting to school in the morning and you know, putting the waffle in the toaster. So in the dual admit program, John is a biology student, as most of our students are here today at the school. But he's also accepted into the dental program in the College of Dental Medicine. So, and he's in the accelerated, right? You're really the future here. We're looking at how we can compress the time here when someone starts their education till we get them where they can go, where they really want to make that kind of impact. So you're really a pioneer in that. We're going to have more people like you, John, who are going to be able to do that. And without the support of you all, it's hard for the kids to be able to do this. It's hard for us to provide that kind of program where they make a difference. So not only, I think the technical word is smarty pants. Not only is he a smarty pants, but he's also part of the honors college. So he's not just taking biology, he's taking honors biology. Man, I tell you. He's on the Honors College Student Advisory Board, so he's giving back to our community, and he serves as an ambassador for the dual admissions program. When you hear him speak, you'll see why he makes an excellent ambassador. Speaks much better than I do. Prior to coming to NSU, John was deeply engaged in community service in Toronto. He even founded a nonprofit organization to facilitate partnerships in schools. I didn't even know what a nonprofit was when I was your age, but you're doing that already. And visit his LinkedIn page, you can read more about that. So if it wasn't enough extracurriculars, he's also started conducting research on his own, and you play the tenor sax. Yeah, I know. I can barely play a CD player. I mean, unbelievable. So we asked him to speak tonight to tell you that I can go on and on as I normally do, and I can talk about facts and figures about what makes for academic excellence. But what makes for academic excellence at this university is bringing all these factors together and making an impact on our world today. And John, come on up here and tell them what you're doing today and what you're going to do tomorrow.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Schneider, for that introduction. I don't know where you got a lot of that information, but I guess my LinkedIn is very thorough, so thank you. And I'm more of an Oppenheimer guy myself, personally. But anyways, thank you so much. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's truly a pleasure to be back in Florida, where just a few short weeks ago, I completed my first year at NSU as a part of the dual admission dental medicine program. And for someone like me who knew that dentistry was their future, the decision of coming to NSU was very easy. I had a reserved seat in the dental school, clear requirements to meet for admission, and a group of driven and focused peers with similar interests. Now, serving as a dual admission ambassador, I truly had the privilege of representing this innovative and exceptional program to current and prospective students and their parents alike. And I can truly say that the opportunity that's provided to these bright students is unmatched. And so to NSU and its benefactors, I really extend my sincere gratitude for this program. What makes NSU unique, in my opinion, is the opportunities that it provides to students for immersion in our future professions. In this short year, I've had the opportunity to shadow in the dental clinic and attend lectures and receive mentorship from NSU dental alumni in the Honors College, and even work in the research lab of Dr. Toshi Kawai, which has truly been a surreal experience for me. I've had the ability to gain firsthand research experience and attend and present at conferences with world-renowned researchers and truly contribute to our growing body of knowledge already at the undergraduate level. And to give you an idea of how important this research is, emerging studies have actually linked gum disease to Alzheimer's, hypertension, cancer, and diabetes. And they found that gum disease can actually decrease life expectancy by about 5 to 10 years. So currently, NSU's Dental College is actually aiming to establish a dentist, scientist, DDS PhD program, which would be one of just a few in the nation. And ultimately, it would allow interested students like myself, and believe me, I would be the first in line to apply for this program, to complete our dental degree and acquire the solid foundation in oral biology that would start a career of profound research. And my father, who is an orthodontist by profession, he's truly a multidisciplinarian within the field of dental medicine. He's an inventor, he's an entrepreneur, a researcher. He teaches residents at the University of Toronto and even here at NSU College of Dental Medicine, and all of this while running his own dental practice. So when I first told my dad that I was interested in going to dental school, you can imagine how ecstatic he was. But throughout the following years of mentorship, he emphasized his one regret, which was not continuing his education to complete a PhD. And truly, the dental science field needs multidisciplinarians who can fill the gap between laboratory benchwork and clinical practice, just as my father had to teach himself. A dentist scientist PhD program is one of the best ways to create such a multidisciplinarian. We truly have a need for researchers in oral healthcare to translate discoveries in the lab to new and better treatments, influencing how care is delivered in the future. And beyond that, this program would allow students to learn how to balance research and clinical responsibilities simultaneously, which is truly a vital skill for a successful career in academic research. This is an exceptional funding opportunity for philanthropic investors seeking to make a big impact by helping NSU educate the next generation of scientists. So if you know anyone who might be interested in helping to fund what's sure to become a permanent program at the dental college, please reach out to Sherry Meehan. Her contact information is in your notebook, your program booklet over there. I'd like to thank you again for having me here this evening. It's truly been a pleasure. And I'd again like to extend all my gratitude to all of you for giving NSU your time, your talent, and your treasure. Thank you again.
Great job, John. We have a GoFund page to get him a haircut, but nobody wants to contribute. Everybody in the whole room is jealous, so and the ladies like it. So anyway, obviously a very bright student, and you're going to make a great dentist, and another fundraiser for NSU. How about that? So thank you so much. My name is Rick Latta. I am known as Mr. NSU. Thank you to Dr. Hanberry. He gave me this moniker because I am on 5 different boards here at the university. And I didn't attend this school. My daughter did. I went to other schools, but the experience that she had here at NSU just was such a fantastically positive experience that it inspired my wife and I to help out. So when she was, my daughter Brooke Latta, who's now a federal prosecutor, went to the law school here, she was president of her class. So she would draft my wife and I to come up and hang banners and check in the students and that sort of thing. So then after she graduated, the dean came up and asked if I would stick around for a while and help out and do whatever I could. And I had fallen in love with it. So here we are, so many years later, and I'm absolutely loving it. And you know, it's interesting because in life, there's very, very few instances where you can look at yourself in the mirror and pat yourself on the back and say, good job. And what I do here at NSU, I do that a lot because I sacrifice, I give, I get involved, I just love this place. It really is an amazing institution. So congratulations to all of you for being here tonight, and the inductees, and those of you who have given in the past as well. And this school is going places that's beyond belief. And when you're an outsider like me, because I don't work for the university, I'm just giving my time. So when I see it, I'm not captivated by the forest for the trees. I can see the big picture from outside. So it's incredible to see what's going on with this university. So I have the honor this evening to introduce our next speaker. And he has there's so many things I could say about him, but first of all, and you'll know who I'm talking about right away because you gotta love his accent and you gotta love his hair. And as soon as I say that and that southern drawl, boy, I tell you what, it just captivates me. What can I tell you? I can listen to you all night. So I'm going to read this if you don't mind, so just bear with me, folks. Before entering higher education administration, Dr. Hanbury led a successful 30-year career as a city manager of the cities of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Portsmouth, Virginia, and Virginia Beach, Virginia. That's it. He was the city manager of those cities. Incredible. Dr. Hanbury holds a BS from Virginia Tech, Master in Science in Public Administration from Old Dominion University, and a PhD in Public Administration from Florida Atlantic University. Prior to his appointment as president, Dr. Hanbury served NSU for 12 years as executive officer, vice president, and chief operating officer here at NSU. So you can imagine he knows the school very, very well. So he was the right man for the job. And then in July of 2011, Dr. George Lafayette Hanbury II, and that's quite a name, I love that name, it's beautiful, assumed the role of president and CEO of Nova Southeastern University, which, by the way, as you all know, is the largest non-for-profit university in the entire state of Florida. That's fantastic. One of its first accomplishments as president was to refocus the university's mission and vision and lay out 8 core values that guide NSU to this day as it becomes a preeminent doctoral research university. NSU's core values, by the way, are part of its DNA, which makes this whole place so amazing, and that's why we're going to continue to do so well. Academic excellence, we all want that. Student-centered, absolutely, but there's so many universities that miss that whole point completely. A lot of times you don't see the presidents walk around and meeting with the students. Dr. Hanbury does. Integrity, of course. Innovation, love that. Opportunity, great. Scholarships, research, diversity is important in this crazy world. And community, because we are all part of this South Florida and we all have to work together to make a better world. Under Dr. Hanbury's leadership, NSU is one of only 59 universities in the nation to hold a Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching. It's a dual designation of both community engaged and high research activity. So we're only one of 59 thanks to President Hanbury. Dr. Hanbury continues to be recognized for his leadership and honored by many service organizations, city councils, commissions, chambers of commerce across the nation, and what an amazing job he has done here at NSU. So please join me in welcoming Dr. George Hanbury to the stage.
And thank you, Mr. NSU. And thank all of you tonight for coming. You know, this evening is very impressive to me because I see people in the audience who love NSU just like I do and the people who talked before me. I was asked to talk about what started my idea or my impetus to start giving service to others. Well, that was pretty easy. It was when my mama told me, go help these ladies to carry their groceries when I was 8 years old. You see, I grew up in a little area, it was low income, nobody had cars, and in order to get to the grocery store, it was always the ladies, not the men. So that was my great introduction to service. but I was conscripted yeah, by my mother to go serve those ladies. But it also taught me, hey, there's a bunch of other boys wanting to carry the ladies' groceries. I had to have a better wagon, and I had to talk a better language. So it taught me the first thing I ever learned about salesmanship, and my ability to ask many of you to give not only of your time and your talent, but your treasures to support not George Hanbury, George Lafayette Hanbury II, but this great university. And I know every one of you now, and until Terry came along, not too many people knew what that L stood for. But my mother, steeped in Virginia history, and the whole revolution was won right there in Yorktown, Virginia, by George Washington with Lafayette. Lafayette, only 20-some years old, with Washington, twice as old. Washington had 1/3 of the troops. The French had 2/3 of the troops. And were it not for George Washington and the Marquis de Lafayette, we'd still be part of Canada, John. Because that's when George Washington and Lafayette backed everybody, Cornwallis, up to the York River, and the French kept the British from coming up into the Chesapeake Bay to save Cornwallis. So he did what all good Englishmen did. He surrendered. And we became the United States of America. And it was because of my mother's influence of me. You get out there and start carrying groceries for those ladies. They don't have anybody else to carry groceries. Well, I always tried to figure out an extra way to get another 25 cents. Because I'd not only carry the groceries, I'd deliver them inside the house. Oh, man. And that would cause everybody else to do a little bit further. So time went by. None of us young boys ever thought we were going to go to college. There was no such thing as student financial aid. And one day, this young boy across the street from mine, we went to an introductory for the Boy Scouts program. This old man who was the scoutmaster, he said, young boys, I'll tell you something. If you come in here and work hard and you give service to others, you'll find out it's as good, especially if you get Eagle Scout. You get Eagle Scout, it's worth 2 years of college. I'm thinking, hell, pretty daggone good. My daddy was a longshoreman and a dock master. Most he ever made, $6,000 in his life. Mama was a housewife, and I knew damn well we didn't have money to go to college. But if I got Eagle Scout, that'd be worth 2 years of college. So, guess who signed up? And it's there where it was a little bit more than my mama's admonishment to go serve those ladies carrying groceries. It was service to others, starting out right with the Boy Scouts. And I did with my next door neighbor, young boy, and we both got Eagle Scout. And truly, I learned everything I've practiced as president of this university from being a Boy Scout, from establishing a vision of being prepared to a mission of the Scout Oath on my honor. I'll do my best to do my duty to God and country, to obey the Scout law, and to help other people. Help other people. And the core values, a Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, helpful, friendly. Brave, clean, and reverent. Another Boy Scout. Everything from vision, mission, and values, right there. Here I was, a 12-year-old. Went to high school, played sports, was able to be admitted into VPI. And what is VPI, or now Virginia Tech's motto? Ut prosim. Now, for you fancy lawyers who always deal in Latin, what's ut prosim mean? Oh my God, they didn't take that much Latin. Ut prosim is that I may serve. So then I graduated from Virginia Tech, went on into here while I was a junior. I had changed from engineering because my dad had told me the only ones making any money was engineering. But after 2 years of engineering and my inability to get through chemistry, John, I wanted to change and become a lawyer. I wanted to be like Perry Mason. Yeah. Having all the ladies to think he was the greatest and to win the trial right there on the bench. So I changed from engineering and I had to take freshman accounting my junior year. So I'm in the accounting lab that day doing debits and credits, and announcement came across. President John Kennedy was assassinated. And it wasn't the assassination that struck me so hard. It was going back and hearing what I heard of what I missed 3 years earlier. And it was Kennedy's comment, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Bam, here I was, 20-some years old, a junior in college, and I finally saw what my mother was talking about. Captain Harry Holland at the Boy  what Virginia Tech was talking about. but more importantly, what the assassinated president of the United States was saying. Service to us and giving back. So I changed from being involved, wanting to make money like Perry Mason and being the star, to really giving back. And that's when I decided to be a city manager. And for 30 years, I did. And it was the most noble profession I've ever undertaken. But the first year I became city manager in Virginia Beach, Virginia, I was the youngest person. I was 30 years old. I was city over 200,000 in the nation. And my mother was in the hospital. And I didn't think she was that bad off. I went in to see her. Hoped everything was well. Unfortunately, her cancer had spread to her bone. And then the whole aspects of how cancer can go throughout the body once it's in the bone marrow. And so I had told her about this friend of mine who grew up in our same little old neighborhood. And he was superintendent of schools while I was city manager. And Mama was very proud of me. My father had already passed away when I was 29, so I'm right at 30 years old. And she said, Georgie, that's what Mama called me. Nobody else. Georgie, I told her, Ed Brickle, who was the superintendent of schools, who spoke at my investiture, who's now passed away, he later became the president of Eastern Virginia Medical School. I said, Mama, Ed Brickle just got his doctorate going to night school at William & Mary. She said, Georgie, I always wanted you to be a doctor. So there, I'm only 30 years old. I said, Mama, I promise you, just like I served those ladies carrying groceries, I'll get a doctorate. And I left her, and my sister called me later that night. Mama had passed away. So I served as city manager for 30 years. And to me, public service was indeed, and still is, the most noble service I've ever had. But then my last year, after 8 years in Fort Lauderdale, Ray Ferrero came to me and said, hey, George, a university is kind of like a city. How would you like to come be my chief operating officer? I've been a lawyer for 38 years. I've sued people. I've won a lot of suits, but I've never brought disparate groups together to really accomplish a single shared vision. And I said, Ray, I've been going to night school, fulfilling a promise. Now here it had been. I was 30 years old when I made that promise to my mother. I got hired and fired. Well, I was already the city manager in Virginia Beach, but I got fired in Virginia Beach 8 years later. Then I got hired in Portsmouth for what I got fired for in Virginia Beach, which was economic development. And then because of success in Portsmouth after 8 years, Fort Lauderdale recruited me. And it wasn't until I came to Fort Lauderdale that FAU offered a doctoral program, a PhD in public administration. So for night school, I went 6.5 years, and you only allowed 7 years or you had to all start over again. So I finally made it. So when Ray offered me that job, I said, Ray, I feel like Burr Rabbit being thrown in the briar patch. Now, most of you are too young to know stories of Burr Rabbit, but Burr Rabbit, whether he said he wanted to be thrown in the briar patch or not, always wanted to be thrown in the briar patch. So I was so thankful to Ray. So after 30 years of service, in really 4 cities, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Portsmouth, and Fort Lauderdale, I started a new career. Right now, it's been 26 years, and by the time I stepped down in January of 2025, turn over the reins to Dr. Harry Moon to get us to that preeminent level that we always wanted to be, because I still don't think we're respected here in Broward County like this great university should be. So these last 26 years, even though my public service was the most noble thing I ever did, what I've done with these young men and women like John and many others, and every commencement this year, we got about 7,000 students like John, have great aspirations and dreams, but they need your help. They need people to be like those of us who signed up to be legacy. Jana and I have done exactly that. When we pass, we've given whatever is left to this university for students, for scholarships, so that they could actually fulfill their aspirational dreams and desires to serve others. And that's what our scholarships are for. So for those of you who know me, I've always told Shaggy Dog stories, and you just heard from birth to life my Shaggy Dog story. But it's been one of service. And what makes the legacy gift so great is that that gift of service will continue long after we are gone. So I want to thank all of you for joining this 1964 society. 1964. This university, it isn't even 60 years old yet until the end of this year. But you have an opportunity by being in this legacy 1964 society to see your service, just like all of those services that I've talked about, to go on in perpetuity. So ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been part of Legacy 64 until now, I hope you will join. And if you are a member of Legacy 64, I hope you will expand your gift. Because I think every one of you have made a little bit more money than what you had when you signed up. So I thank you very much. Jana and I thank you. And we hope you commit to give for students who want to give back. Ron talked about, or Mr. NSU talked about, all of our 8 core values. Community and giving back is one of them, but one he left out that I insist that every graduate who leaves us adheres to for the remainder of their lives. Integrity. Integrity tops us on all of our core values. So when you give back service with integrity, that's everything that I ever believed in, was ever taught, and hopefully what I will die for. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you, Dr. Hanbury. And if I may say so, I think your mother would be very, very, very proud. And I think that George Washington, tell me.
Hey, if you want to hear the rest of the story,
Stick around.
book, and you can buy it, and all the proceeds will go for student scholarship.
Oh, very good. Thank you. I think I can also say that George Washington would consider you a trusted friend. No question about that. So just to touch real quickly, and I know that we're running a little bit low on time, but I gave a legacy gift, and it was the easiest thing in the world to do, because when I first joined the different boards that I'm on, and I wanted to help out the students of the university, because that's what it's all about. It's all about the students here. I was trying to figure out a way to do it, but a long time ago, it just wasn't financially feasible, and I didn't want to take money away from my inheritance from the kids. So the legacy gift allows you to contact your insurance agent, buy a life insurance policy, the best one that you can find, in term or life or whole, your insurance person is going to tell you how to do it. And then the day comes, and you make the annual premiums every year. They're very small, they're very easy, they're painless. And then when the day comes that you're no longer here, the money goes outside of your estate. Your kids don't even feel it, and it's a beautiful gift to the students of the university, and they can really use it. There's so many kids out there that are brilliant, that just can't afford a good education, especially at a place like this that's really becoming so popular and so famous and so incredible. So I would recommend it highly. Talk to your development officers. Terry Malarkey is the chief of that, and he's doing a fantastic job. So, and if you have any questions about that, please feel free to ask me. So if you love NSU as much as I do, please do so. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce the chairman of the gift planning committee, and he will be doing the induction ceremony, Mr. Michael Wild.
So Rick, you had to follow John. I got to follow Dr. Hanbury. I don't know what we did to upset Sherry, but okay, we'll try to do our best. So let's induct some new members. Today we're going to recognize the donors who became eligible members for the 1964 Society this year by creating their legacies at NSU through planned gifts. Planned giving includes any major gift that involves financial or estate planning. So Rick mentioned a very easy way, especially for the young people at that table. Right now you can get a life insurance policy for like pennies now, and that eventually, we'll treat you like a millionaire now, and then eventually it'll mature long after we're gone. But you can also do it for those of us who maybe insurance costs more money. We can do it through estate planning, through retirement, gifts as the income tax level rises after 2025. It might be nice to get those required minimum distributions out of your tax return and into Nova Southeastern University. So today, we recognize the people who have already done so, and we want to call President Hanbury back up here to join me at the front. So as the inductees are called, you can come up and join Dr. Hanbury at the front of the podium. So first, Scott Colton and Michael Kelly. So Scott Colton came to NSU in 1999 as Director of the Medical Communications and Public Relations at the Dr. Kiran C. Patel College of Osteopathic Medicine. In 2021, he transitioned to his current role as Senior Editorial Director in the Office of Printing and Publication. His spouse, Michael Kelly, is currently Associate Director of Development at Goodman Jewish Family Services, following a 20-year teaching career at the Broward County Schools and a former fundraiser at the Comprehensive AIDS Program. Scott and Michael have been a devoted couple for 23 years and have forged a special bond with NSU over those years. Scott said the 25 years he has spent as an NSU employee have been the most fulfilling of his career. Scott and Michael made individual bequests designated to the Dr. Kiran C. Patel College of Osteopathic Medicine for its general use and purpose. Scott and Michael, thank you for your legacy and gifts of preeminence. Welcome to NSU 1964 Society. Congratulations. Please join us. Next, Nicholas Lakazi. Nicholas Lakazi is a friend of the university whose wife, Natalie, graduated from NSU in 1986. His daughter, Deanne, graduated from NSU in 1990. Nick has been employed by some of the largest companies in the world. With a degree in aerospace engineering, he has served as an engineer, a programmer, a manager, and an executive. Now retired, Nick is an avid writer. He wrote Self-Help and Mental Health, Tough Path to Wellness with his son. His other books include The Medical Project and the U.S. Leadership Program. Nick's stories allow him to explore ideas aimed at truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. An enduring tribute to Natalie and Deanne, Nick's bequest to NSU will create the Lakazi Family Fund at the Dr. Pallavi Patel College of Healthcare Sciences for its general use and purpose. Nick, thank you for your legacy gift of preeminence. Welcome to the NSU 1964 Society. Congratulations. Dr. Juan Segura. Dr. Juan Segura is a medical doctor and nurse practitioner. A gynecologic oncologist in his native Dominican Republic, Dr. Segura worked at Memorial Hospital's oncology group before joining NSU in 2018 as an adjunct professor at the Ron and Kathy Asaf College of Nursing. Today, Dr. Segura is a program director for the Adult Gerontology Acute Care Nurse Practitioner Program. His research interest is primarily related to the prevention of surgical site infections in acute settings. Dr. Segura and his wife, Oneida, live in Port St. Lucie and have 3 daughters and 3 grandsons. Dr. Segura designated retirement assets to support nursing student scholarships at the Ron and Kathy Asaf College of Nursing. Dr. Segura, thank you for your legacy gift of preeminence. Welcome to the 1964 Society. Congratulations. Anna Fornius Sorensen. Anna Fornius Sorensen came to NSU in 2011 as an Associate Director of Development at NSU Art Museum, Fort Lauderdale. In 2023, she transitioned to her current role of Senior Advancement Director of Transformational Giving. Her spouse, Ben Sorensen, is president of Sorensen Consulting, a leadership training and executive coaching firm, former vice mayor of the city of Fort Lauderdale, and a lieutenant commander in the Navy Reserve. Anna and Ben live in Fort Lauderdale and have 2 young daughters. Anna and Ben made individual bequests designated to the NSU Art Museum, Fort Lauderdale for its general use and purpose. Anna, thank you and Ben for your legacy gifts of preeminence. Welcome to the 1964 Society. Congratulations. Next up is Mimi Bauer. It's been said that the thrill of taking lasts a day, but the thrill of giving lasts a lifetime. Mimi Bauer knows the joy of giving to NSU. Mimi fell in love with the NSU Art Museum Fort Lauderdale back in 1993 when she was asked to chair its annual gala. Over the past 30 years, she has served on the museum's board of governors and chaired the museum's most historic galas, including Salvador Dali, Princess Diana, King Tut, and Treasures of the Vatican. Mimi became a member of the 1964 Society in 2021, with bequests in her will to the NSU Art Museum and the H. Wayne Huizenga College of Business and Entrepreneurship, gifts in memory of her spouse, John P. Bauer. Proud sponsor of the NSU Art Museum, Mimi increased her legacy gifts to NSU by naming the museum as a beneficiary of her donor-advised fund. We are delighted that Mimi's sister, Dee Dee, could be here today. Thank you, Mimi, for your legacy gift of preeminence and for giving your time, your talent, and your treasure to the NSU Art Museum. I would like to now invite all of the inductees back up to the front for a group picture. Rick, you as well. Congratulations again to all of the 1964 inductees. And now, one final ask. You know, I have no actual connection to NSU prior to joining this committee and the ambassador board. I went to University of Florida for undergrad and law school. I don't have any children that ever went here, but it's in my backyard, and I started to get involved about 8 years ago with the ambassador board, and we would meet. This was before the Innovation Center existed. We would meet at different places on the university, and I became enamored with what NSU was doing. I mean, I went to Cooper City High School. NSU wasn't a tenth of what it is now, and now I see the Oceanographic Institute and the Sales Institute and now the Innovation Center. And even though I had no actual alumni connection, I became a fellow. I became a charter member of the Levan Center, founding member there, because everything I'm seeing is so impressive. But what impressed me the most are the students. You know, we watch the news and I talk to my clients and things, and people all over the country are having problems at different colleges, but not here. Every student I talk to, whether it be an alumni of NSU, whether it be a current student, whether it be an incoming student, all pragmatic, all responsible, all ultra impressive, just as you heard tonight. And when I look at what's coming out of this university, it makes me so proud to where I can honestly say this university is my favorite non-Gator university. And so I have given to this university. I haven't given to my own. Like my alumni, I didn't give anything to the University of Florida unless it involved a football game. So I urge all of you, if you have a connection or if you don't, find that love. There's a place on this campus that you are going to find passion for. There is a student that you will be impressed by. Search for it, find it, become a member of the 1964 Society. Thank you. The bar is open again.